Alright guys, Ian from Central Coast. We're catching up with Big Jerm, Jeremy Koling, Prodigy sponsored for his AMA. And first question.
My favorite kitchen appliance. Alright, AMAs. This is my first one, so yeah, that's the very first question.
It's literally ask me anything.
Favorite kitchen appliance? A good scissors. I mean, could you say that because yeah, you use that in the kitchen? I feel like I use it.
That's an instrument.
You got to plug it into the appliance?
Oh, okay. Appliances, you have to plug it in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's well then that should be pretty easy because I mean I guess I'm a pretty good microwave chef.
Oh, there we go.
Microwave.
How to play.
Yes, because Ben Calloway, also known as Little Jerm, he's actually not that little, he's really strong, but he's small. He's like basically my face on a smaller version, and he's still really good. He actually just won a big tournament, the Great Lakes, or the Great Lakes, yeah.
Okay.
So if I was Little Jerm, then yes, I would still be good.
Awesome.
That's a solid question, and thank you for noticing. And that's the toughest part of the game for a lot of people. I know, speaking for myself, I think that there's no bigger challenge than controlling what's going on between your ears, and it's something that I've worked on since the beginning of me playing the game. So it's taken small steps forward, I feel like, constantly, and I think most recently I've decided that I'd rather be known for being a fun person to be around than being known as a great disc golfer. Although those are both very important to me, I think that allowed me to be less dramatic at times. Although that's still there, they're still battling. It's not like it's the science that I've just figured out, but I think that's more important to me than it was before, and so that might be the thing that made it change and has allowed me to free myself up from getting caught up in myself and being upset at small things that I can't control.
Cool.
Without any videos, just telling them.
Just like a random sidearm tip.
Random sidearm tip. I've always encouraged people to throw lesser stable discs with more hyzer, keeping the palm up, elbow tight in to the body. That is for control, that is for consistency, that is to get the most flight out of the disc, but it's also for long-term body wear. If people are bringing their elbow out away from their body and they're throwing overstable discs really hard and getting long S turns, you don't really get a nice touch. You can't really control how the disc lands as well as you can if you throw more of a flip-up type shot. It's not easy to do, but in certain situations I feel like it's the best shot. It's one that I've gone to for a lot of shots in my career that have kind of given me an advantage in the woods, saving par when I inevitably throw a bad shot off the tee or something. So the best tip I have is just keep the palm up and practice a lot in the field, and it takes a lot of muscle memory to trust that kind of a shot, but it'll save you some strokes if you can manage to get comfortable with it.
Awesome.
360 forehand roller?
Yeah.
All right.
I know.
How about I do a reverse 360 forehand roller?
Do it. Alex, you got that?
Oh my god.
Reverse, son.
Sick. Alex, you go grab his disc. Thanks, dude.
That was as good for you as it was for me.
That was fantastic.
I don't necessarily feel like my hands are disproportionately sized to most people's hands. I can palm a basketball, so I guess that's pretty big because a lot of people can't. But my grip for my putter is like such. It is. I like to keep my finger on the rim, kind of as a guide to the target. When I wrap my finger around like this, it's not quite as comfortable for me. I feel like I yank it, I pull it over to the right.
Okay.
So this is kind of a guide. I feel like for the most part I could putt just as well if my finger were off the edge of the disc. Basically what I'm trying to do is pinch between these two fingers and my thumb and control it with the index finger a little bit.
Huh.
So it's kind of a pop and just opening the hand up to the pole or whatever my aim target is and trying to not break my wrist over. So it's just up and in.
Cool.
And mid-range, I'm guessing he's specifically talking about backhand.
I think so, yeah.
I actually throw, for my mid-ranges and for my drivers, my grip is pretty much the same. I throw a fan grip. The only difference between my mid-range and my driver grip is that my mid-range is pinched like this. It's fanned out. I'm getting a lot of pinch right here off this index knuckle, and most of the spin is coming from that pinch there. Whereas with my driver grip, I fan out again, but I'm actually tucking my pinky into the rim, and so I'm getting a lot of pinch here at this joint right here, but also the pinky finger is controlling a lot of spin as well. But yeah, that's one of the things that when I talk about grip, when I do clinics, everyone's finger sizes and hand proportions are all different. So what's comfortable for me might not be what's most comfortable for you, especially if the question giver has ridiculously huge hands, because it's difficult for me to relate to that. I just find what's most comfortable and then I work with that.
Cool.
Typically the best grip is if you just grabbed the disc and you just felt comfortable with it, that's a good grip. As long as there's certain things we try to avoid.
Sure.
But for the most part, what's comfortable is what you should start working with, and that really is different from everybody.
Cool.
The Jesus, because nobody F's with the Jesus.
Best answer. Two for one right there.
Nice one, nice twofer. Who has the best beard on tour? I don't know, man. Ricky just kind of like, this is not the best. Let's just go ahead and clear it up. The best would probably have to go to Zach Melton at Tennessee.
Okay.
Zach Melton's beard is a little bit messy, but it's excellent. Ricky though surprised me because
Wysocki?
Yes, Wysocki. I don't know if he shaved it like today or I haven't seen him, but like yesterday I saw him and it was just peach fuzz everywhere. But it was big enough peach fuzz where you could actually you could call it a beard.
Wow.
Surprising. I didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. He still has it.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, Ricky's is not the best by any means, but just because you said beard, I had to go and think
that's
about
where it's
that.
thinking.
Most improved.
Most improved beard on tour this year.
And the second part was.
If you could live next to any course.
Oh, live next to any course. That's a good question. I truly like the courses I live next to in Charlotte, North Carolina. However, Hornets Nest kind of is going under some serious alterations right now, and pretty much the whole course is going to have to be redesigned.
Wow.
I love living next to that course. It's a lot of fun to play. You can play it fairly quickly, but it still was challenging, and I'll miss that course in its original layout. Right now, what course I would live next to is probably see, the thing is, there's a difference between like the rounds that you just want to play with your buddies,
yeah, sure,
and then like tournament layouts.
Yeah.
Like I think the best tournament course in America is Maple Hill, and I think the best course I've ever played is the tournament course, the 18-hole layout at Järva, in Sweden. But I don't really want to live in Sweden, so. That's a tough question because you have to, if it's one that you're living next to and you're playing all the time, you don't want to play like, you don't want to be living next to like a par 70 that's just taxing you every single day you play it. So I don't know, there's some good par 60s. That's kind of like the layout. That's like this par I want to play, like if I play every day, par 60.
Cool.
I love Pier Park. I think I could play there all the time.
Pier Park
up here in Oregon, in Portland, is just beautiful. Just huge, tall Douglas firs and fair fairways, and it's just a beautiful park. So I'm gonna go ahead and go with that one right now, but that might not be the right answer. But
We'll take it. We'll take it.
One of the things is how it feels, like how much trust I have with it. You know, it's all for me. I know I can execute the shot both forehand and backhand. So to me, in my mind, I have to be convinced one way or the other. You can't go half-assed into any shot. Whatever you commit to do, you have to commit 100%. So a lot of times I'll just be in an area where I'll throw a lot of forehands consistently, and then I'll step up to a shot that might be a backhand shot, but because I've been working in the forehand and I've got the touch, I'll keep with that shot just to kind of stay with the rhythm of it.
I like it.
But there's also factors, that's one factor for sure, is just the flow and confidence. Another factor is, of course, what the green's like, where the trouble is, the slope, and then the third factor would be the wind. If I have a left to right, I'll probably throw a backhand to cut into the wind, whereas the left to right would shoot the sidearm away from where I want to go. So I'll fight against the wind a lot of times if it's a wide open shot.
Okay.
If I'm going quick, it's usually because I'm close and I'm not trying to overthink things.
Is there like a certain feet you're like, you know, like, or is it just a feel type of thing? Or?
It is kind of a feel thing. It's, you know, if there's wind, I'm going to take some time, factor that in. Again, it's a flow thing. If I'm feeling the flow, I don't really want to spend much time over analyzing it and just trusting whatever swing thought I have and just going with that. When I'm taking my time, it's who knows? I have a routine. Trust me. I just don't know what it is. It's just I feel I have certain things that I do at certain times that make sense to me, and I can't really explain it. The close ones, though, I like to just step up and put it in there. I think if you think long, you think wrong. Cool. Garrett gave me that little blurb.
I like that one.
I mean, sometimes you need to really factor everything because you can get careless if you go too quick.
Sure.
But it's just something that I'm comfortable with, and so I don't know. I don't think there's a certain footage that separates if I'm quick or if I'm slow. It's just a feel.
Cool.
That's a loaded question. I mean, there's some pieces of pizza. There's some pies that
Let's assume like maybe like a Papa John's large. Let's go with that.
Okay. In an hour?
Yeah.
I remember, like, okay, we'll go back. When I was like my 12th birthday, I remember or maybe like younger than that, I don't even, the Pizza Hut just came out with their stuffed crust pizza, and it was like the biggest deal. And I remember on my birthday, I had to go to Pizza Hut and get a large stuffed crust pizza, the meat lovers. Like, I was just like, I'm gonna go to town, right? And this was like a very cool opportunity for me, because I didn't grow up with very much money, so like going to Pizza Hut and getting my own large pizza was primo, and that thing was loaded with toppings, and like I remember eating that whole thing when I was like 10, and that's 8 slices, but those are like really loaded.
For sure.
So if we're talking like a single topping Papa John's and I'm hungry, I could probably put down 12 to 15.
Cool. How about that?
But I'm not gonna be happy about it.
Yeah.
I would only do it if somebody said you can't eat 12 to 15 slices of pizza, and I'd be like, all right, now I'm gonna have to eat 12 to 15 slices of pizza.
You're awesome, man.
I usually practice 1 or 2 rounds for the tournament, and then the 2 days of the tournament, so 4 days total. Okay. Sometimes I practice more if it's just something to do, if there's a basket at the house I'm staying at that week. But I've done my practice throughout the years. My practice was done when I was, you know, trying to learn what to do. Now it's just like it's a feel thing, and if I'm not feeling it, I'll practice some, and if I'm feeling pretty good about it, I'll leave it alone and trust that, you know, there's a reason that I'm making my putts and not try to overthink it. So just you know, I don't really spend much time practicing, maybe a couple hours a week total.
Tee know what hot dog Annies are?
No.
No? I don't know.
Hot dog Annies.
I don't know, man.
Hot dog Annies for a week. Maybe that's somewhere.
I think it's a place with hot dogs that's maybe by Maple Hill.
Yes, it is. It is. It is.
Okay,
It is.
okay.
I've had a couple hot dog experiences at Annie's before, and they're good. But I mean, that's like the 30th thing on my list of things I love to do at Vyram.
You're slightly more excited to defend your title?
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
A little bit.
I mean, no one's ever won back-to-back. We're being quieted. I'm more excited about defending the Maple Hill title because if I do, it would be the first person to ever win back-to-back titles up there. No one's ever done that before.
Mm-hmm.
People have Kale won the Maple Hill, and he's won the Maple Hill Open, or what was it? Maple Hill Disc Golf Championships, the MSDGCs,
mm-hmm.
and he won Vyram. Mm-hmm. But no one's ever actually been a two-time winner of the Vyram or whatever, the Maple Hill Open now. So that's kind of exciting to think that you leave your mark on history with that.
For sure, man.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Most different, most similar, and most different. The most different goes to anyone who throws really hard Anheuser stable discs.
Like a Wraith or
that's
something like that?
The hardest shot for me to throw is a Anheuser sidearm. Like I would rather do that with backhand. It's just for some reason, it's not my shot. Like in the woods, like out in the open, of course I can flex one, but like the tight Annie Woods shot, I would rather throw a flip up all day. The most similar. I've seen some out there that are pretty similar. I know most people won't know this name, but Coral Saws from South Carolina throws a really nice flip up. Okay. A lot of spin. Macbeth's actually working on his late turn sidearm, and it's kind of annoying because it's like, hey, that's my thing, like stop it. Like, you already have so many things. Why do you have to take my thing? My one thing that I have?
That's your thing, man.
It's my thing.
It's your thing, for sure.
And he's trying to step into my whole, like, he's trying to get in my pool and swim in my pool. And it's like, no, it's my pool, man. Like, I didn't invite you over here. Stay in your own yard and just keep winning tournaments the way you've always won them. And he's like, no, I've got to be best at everything. It's like, okay, we get it. You're really a perfectionist. You're really good. But right now I can't. It's tough for me to think of one person that has, because a lot of people don't throw the shot that I throw. Yeah. I mean, it's not that I'm so good at it. It's just what I personally trust. I mean, I'm pretty good at it, but it's not that. It's the shot that other people would even go to. It's like, it's just, people would look at it and be like, it's a reason it's called Kolinging for a reason. Like throwing a sidearm on a backhand hyzer, it's way easier to throw a backhand hyzer for like 99.9% of people. So I can't think of anyone else that does that, but I know there are people. I just, no one that's like a touring professional. You know, everyone's got local people that are experts at their own little thing that they do, you know.
You throw them prettiest I've ever seen, man. Like 19 at Daylaw, dude. Do you remember this? This is your second round. You 100% parked it with a turnover Annie beforehand.
It's the second time I've done that.
That was unbelievable, dude. You can skip me if you want.
Not starting any rumor mills here, but you know, I always felt that there was a family with Discraft, and so I mean, if Prodigy never came about, well, I'll answer it like this: if Prodigy never came about, I would have never left Discraft. I always loved the way that they treated the team, felt like family, and I think they make a terrific product. So I would be with Discraft if Prodigy never came about. That's for sure.
Cool.
That's a good question. There's a lot of places that I haven't been that I'd like to go to. I've only heard terrific things about Des Moines. I'd love to be able to give you a first-hand experience or first-hand answer whether or not that's the city. But from what I've seen, you know, it comes down to the club and the culture. I think Kansas City does a great job. They have a terrific mix of courses up there. I think Twin Cities does a great job with their club. I think Austin, Texas does a great job with their club. And Emporia. I mean, they don't have as many courses as other places, but what Dynamic Discs has done with Emporia is just awesome. It's just hard to not be amazed by what they've done up there in that city. So I've got a lot of respect for those places, for sure.
Okay.
It took me a while. Like, I knew that it had never happened before, so when it went in, it was so hard to tell. It was in the shadows, and it's like 500 to 600 feet away. I'm not exactly sure what the distance is, and the only reason I knew it went in is because the people on the other side of the lake threw their hands up and they started yelling. So then I did it too. I was like, oh my God. But just when I watch that video, I get chills still, because Don Smith just comes and tackles me and picks me up, and like, that's not an easy thing to do.
No.
And just the fact that I was holding Wolfcock in my hand, like, I just saw Sarah Hokum holding it up, and I'm like, they're about to call my name, so I go over and grab it. And the fact that that's the shot that goes in, just like, every time I think about it, it still makes me it's just a complete luck shot. Yeah. I'm not going to say that I knew what was going to happen. Some of those discs were hyzering out, some of them were turned over like crazy. I just happened to be the one to throw it in correctly somehow.
That's awesome.
But it was just, I mean, it's a moment that I'll never forget. Just, I know that a lot of people got a lot of enjoyment out of that, and that's what makes me so happy, is that it's a moment that a lot of people will keep with them.
Where's Wolfcock right now, man?
He's touring around.
Is he a Page? I heard he was a Page last time I heard.
Living the life, you know,
yeah.
Having a good time. A couple guys from Denmark came across the sea and hung out with Marty Gregoire, and he let them borrow it, and they took that to Glassblown. That was the last place I saw Wolfcock. And then the Dynamic Gifts guys, like Eric McCabe and those guys, they started like taking pictures with like a fake Wolfcock.
What?
Yeah. So there's two of them out there, and one of them's a phony. So if you're listening to me, phony Wolfcock, cut it out, because you're not fooling anyone except for everybody, because no one knows where the real one is. I think he's probably back at home in Indianapolis, but it's actually Marty Gregoire's friend's child's toy.
Is it really?
So yeah, so it's funny because Marty was telling me that his buddy he was saying that his kid was like, hey, where's my pet dinosaur? And Marty was like, and then his dad was like, it's with a friend right now. Like, when that kid grows up and he understands where his toy went across the world, I think it's gonna be pretty cool. Pretty cool story to tell the girls he's flirting with.
Oh man, I love that.
Okay, Nate Cron, I think, is the best. He's really, really good. Okay. A guy named John from Asheville, North Carolina, taught me some tricks. He can do the scorpion trick where you stall it on your foot and then you pass it over your head backwards, and he can actually aim it into a pint glass on a bar and make like 5 out of 10 or something. Insane. And then the rest of the people, Jared Roan's pretty good, Cam Todd's pretty good. And some of my homies back home, Henry Childress is someone I like to play a lot with, but no one that we really play with is really good besides Nate Cron. Like, okay. He's amazing.
I'm gonna throw a shout out to Jerry Eshelman.
Is he?
Yeah, he
I'll have to hack with him.
I think you already did.
Okay,
Cup,
he's
right?
got skills. He's got skills. I'm not going to say that he's
best.
He's good.
Yeah.
He's definitely good. There's a lot of people that are good, but like really, really good. Like, it's hard for me. Like, I think I'm a good pool player, but then I play someone who's good. I'm like, I'm not good. That's what I'm talking about with hacky sack. Like, you think you're good, and then you see somebody who's just doing stalls and like flips, and you're just like.
It's like when we play disc golf, and then we see you play disc golf.
Yeah, I guess. It could be like that.
I never thought I was good.
Oh yeah, that's true. I used to before I saw pros, man.
Yeah, it has actually. I have several different D1s, like you said, that go from flippy to straight to overstable, and I just like the feel of it. And the truth of the matter is that we don't really have like a really overstable mid-range for my flick. Like, the M1's nice and overstable for my backhands, but the rim's a little bit too deep for me to get a comfortable release with.
Okay.
So I have had to actually like throw more of like the H1s and the F2s for approaches, and so I've changed my game a little bit because of that. But I'm still throwing F3s. I'm still throwing my H1s. I'm still throwing my H3s. So I'm still throwing some fairways and some hybrids in there. But yeah, I have thrown less mid-range in the last couple of years than I did before, for sure.
Huh.
I grew up playing soccer. That was my life. Everywhere I went, I had a ball at my feet. And of course, I had dreams of being a MLS goalie. I was certain I was gonna. I mean, it's like I had to. Like, sports was my outlet for everything, and it meant everything to me on the weekends. It's all I ever looked forward to. And then I actually moved to Charlotte when I was in high school, and our team was number 2 in the country, and our goalie was the national team goalie, and the backup was the state goalie.
Oh, nice.
And so then I was like, all right, well, I'm a freshman. I don't know anyone in this town. I'll try out for JV. They had 2 junior goalies for JV because the varsity team was so stacked, and so I didn't make the team, and it was the first time I didn't like excel at soccer. I came from the town that I moved from. I was like the soccer guy. Everyone knew me as like Mr. Soccer of the town, and then I moved to Charlotte, and I was a nobody, and so like I had some identity crisis at that point. So I started playing basketball, and then that took the role of soccer for me. And then I thought that there was a legitimate shot for me going to a college to play basketball, and I got recruited from some smaller schools, nothing ever serious. Just had some minor offers from places I'd never heard of before. It's nothing I was too interested in, but I was getting a lot better at it, at basketball. So I figured if I stuck with it, I might be able to play in Europe somewhere professionally. But I never really had the heart for it. I loved the game, but I wasn't into the sprints and the wins. It was just too much for me. And I didn't want to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning to do jump shots. So I just kind of stopped thinking about basketball in terms of taking it to the next level, and then disc golf just kind of happened. And so that was something that I realized, like, this is something I can do at my pace, something that it makes sense to me. I see a future with it, and so then I went with disc golf. But I took a couple years off of basketball. I still played throughout disc golf, but I had a really bad knee injury, and it forced me to really think, okay, do I want to play basketball and risk injury and, could it hurt my career as a disc golfer, or should I just stay away from basketball? Well, I stayed away from basketball for a couple years, and then I decided this past winter to start getting back into it, kind of as like a cross training so I wouldn't get fat. And so after years of getting fat, I started playing basketball again, and like after the first game, like I just like had tunnel vision, like I'm spitting like constantly, and I was so out of shape, but I had so much fun that I started doing it twice a week, and getting back into shape was really, really great.
Cool.
And so I play a little basketball now. I don't do anything with soccer anymore. I wish I did. I loved it a lot, but basketball is the only thing that I do besides disc golf. I mean,
nah.
No, I don't think that height is a good enough excuse for missing a putt. I mean, like, it's just your angle is your angle, and you have to adjust to it. I mean, I've never really looked at the basket and said, oh, I wish I wasn't this tall. I mean, it's like, it's just you have this much area to hit it. The putt, whether you're this tall or this tall, you just gotta aim accordingly and practice more. I mean, I feel you sometimes, though. I mean, I understand sometimes you get those low ceiling putts. It's not easy, but you got to use that height to your advantage and look at it as a positive, not a negative, and
cool.
Keep that in mind.
So they also ask about your straddle putting. It's kind of like Ricky Wysocki's a little bit used to do.
Oh yeah, not anymore. I don't do it anymore.
You stop that?
Yeah, my putt's a traditional style now. I don't really do the step putt anymore. Okay. I was doing that because I changed putters, and the style that I used before wasn't matching the putters that I was working with.
Okay.
And somehow in practice, I found it to work for me, and I just went with it. And actually, it's kind of funny because I stopped doing that putt midway through the Memorial. Like, I was kind of struggling through the Memorial, how confident I was with the putts. Like, I was barely making some, but like I wasn't happy enough with that. So in practice during the Memorial, you'll see that I actually went from one style to the other style, and like in the middle of the tournament, which I don't recommend doing, but
it worked out.
It somehow worked out.
Yeah, it worked out pretty good.
I'm not too upset about it.
Right on.
I don't. I grab a disc, and at this point I've thrown enough plastic that I know pretty much just feeling it whether or not I'm gonna like it.
Cool.
It could say that it's a tarantula, and I'd be like, oh, it's cool, a tarantula. Obviously we don't name our discs, but like if it's like the D37 or you know, I don't care. Like I feel the disc, I'll throw it a couple times, and if I like it, I'll figure out where it fits into my lineup.
Okay. Cool.
The name to me is just, people get so caught up in the names and what they should do. You know, I mean, throw it, figure it out. That's the best way to do it. And don't trust what the name is, trust what the flight is.
Cool.
It's not as dynamic of a throw. You can do a lot more with the backhand in terms of control for an Anheuser, for distance, for just overall what you can do with a forehand is limited compared to a backhand. When you reach back with the backhand and you release, you're basically doing 360 degrees of arm rotation, like back here all the way through. A forehand, I'm only bringing it back so far and I'm going straight there. So we're talking about less than 180 degrees to 360 degrees. It's a big difference.
Gotcha.
So you can't throw it as far. And it's just, it's difficult to control. It's a lot of spin and a lot of flutter. It's not easy to release cleanly. So it's just something that I think a lot of players start out forehand because it's easy to start at first, just throwing something really hard.
Yeah.
And have it flex back. But I think over time people realize that it's easier for them to adjust to the backhand shot, which is I teach people to throw backhand first. I don't teach people to throw forehand.
Cool.
It's not the easiest shot.
Yeah.
It's just something I grew up skipping stones on a pond, and when I played ping pong, I did forehand.
Yeah.
You know, when I played catch the football, I was a little bit towards the side. So it was just always a natural motion for me from the sports that I played. But it's not necessarily easy, and that's probably why most people kind of go to the backhand more than they do for the sidearm.
Cool.
Well, not Aaron Hernandez, not Oscar Pistorius. Not those two.
Not those two for sure.
Not those two for sure. I'd like to. It'd be pretty cool to be in a position to be like LeBron. You know, just being the top in disc golf would be just tremendous to have that accomplishment. But disc golf is just so small fries compared to the sports world of how big basketball is. If you were LeBron James for a day, just knowing that you're the greatest at like one of the most popular sports in the world, or Messi, being Messi, like could you imagine what it'd be like to be Messi? Just like knowing that you're just gonna toy with everyone that tries to guard you. I mean, it'd be pretty awesome. I'd have to say either Messi or LeBron.
Cool, man.
For sure.
Good answers. Good answers.
Yeah.
What
lettuce, pickles, mayonnaise, ketchup, extra burger patty, bacon, and a lot of cheese.
grilled onions? Onions at all? Not a fan.
I'll take them.
Take 'em.
And I'll take mushrooms. I mean, not mushrooms. Yeah, I'll take mushrooms.
Yeah.
But I'll take tomatoes too, I guess.
Okay.
Just if you have all American hamburgers.
That's your game?
Yeah,
Nice.
that's it.
Nice,
We're
man.
good with that.
I think you give us Maple Hill and Yarva. What's third?
The Beast in Nokia, Finland.
Cool.
Breakfast food? Actually, I've been on this really awesome breakfast food lately. Vanilla yogurt, oatmeal, not oatmeal, just like the kind
Granola?
Yeah, granola. Sliced strawberries, bananas, and a spoonful of peanut butter. Mix it all up.
That sounds
parfait.
delicious,
It's just,
man.
but it's on point. It's
down.
everything I want for breakfast.
I'm down with that, man.
Actually, just talked about it this morning. I was like, this is what I want for breakfast every single day. I've been on that one for a while.
Dude, what was your question about
Oh.
Forehand teaching somebody or something?
No, Will like parked something yesterday, and I said that I thought Big Jerm had been giving him lessons.
Oh, Will's been working on his forehand a bunch.
You been helping him out with that?
With you?
No, he actually, I think he said that he tried, he said that he was watching videos of me. Of course.
Typical.
Who doesn't really?
Typical Will. No, I think he said that he actually was just trying to slow down his run up with his feet and just do a little bit less footwork, and it just equated to much faster arm speed.
Okay.
And I've been very impressed with how he's been throwing forehands.
Cool.
What's up? 6'6".
Oh my god. This is the most ridiculous. I can't handle that.
You have to. You have to. No, you've already
All right. So B, challenge the alien master to a breakdance contest, or C, shoot the aliens with a photon laser blaster ray that you keep under your mattress.
I don't know the song.
Okay. So
I couldn't sing that.
So,
I mean, I think that would be the option if I knew the words.
okay.
But I would probably have to challenge the alien.
Okay. Breakdance contest?
Breakdance contest. I've done a breakdance contest in Las Vegas before. I mean, it wasn't official and it wasn't good, but I did it. So that counts.
Awesome.
Completely self-taught. When I started playing in 06, there was no YouTube videos, there was nothing that you could go to online. Ken Climo's page was so outdated that one of his favorite discs was the Pegasus. It was like, I couldn't learn anything, but I was always on, I was at a camp in North Carolina in the mountains, and I was actually a camp instructor for disc golf because I just started playing within a month of going and becoming a counselor. And I thought it was a great opportunity to learn myself and teach the kids what I was learning. So I was doing whatever research I could online, but it was never from a throwing coach. I just had some guys that had played longer than I had that were at the camp, giving me basic tips, and basically I just took the forehand that I had learned from being an ultimate player and incorporated as much as I could into disc golf. And so yeah, it's all self-taught, which means it probably could be a lot better. I wish I would have had somebody that really knew what they were doing early on, but now it's, you know, figuring out what works and correcting it based on, everyone has their own style, but there's certain fundamentals that you want to incorporate to get your form in a certain, I don't know, just making it consistent. And that's by watching other players and noticing what works and just being really open to changing.
Cool. Someone says has to be Memorial, but then someone else says it has to be Maple Hill, and then...
Well, I think those are the two obvious ones, but for me, winning Worlds in 08, winning AM Worlds was so important for me. It was the first time in my life that I'd ever set a goal, like a year-long goal, like something like, okay, this is what I have to do, and I went out and I worked my butt off at home. I practiced all the time, and it meant more to me than anything. And walking down the hill on the last hole, it was like an 800-foot downhill hole, and I parked it with a sidearm and in front of the gallery, and I eagled the last hole at the World Championships, and walking down the hill, and I remember I'd never smiled so hard in my life. I was just cheesing. I mean, like, I was up 11 strokes going into the last hole, and it wasn't over. Like, I knew that the hole was really far away, and it was challenging because there's OB on both sides of the fairway, and who knows what your disc is going to do when you're throwing downhill like this, you know? So I was up by 11 strokes, so yeah, I'm thinking in my mind, I probably have won, but, like, I'm focused. I was super, super, super focused. So when that shot came out of my hand and I saw it fly just perfectly and then basically parked the hole like 20 feet short, And once I saw that disc next to the basket from like 800 feet, like looking straight down, that was the first moment where I was like, and I remember it was actually on camera. It was the only shot that's on camera at that World Championship for the amateurs. And I've probably watched that like a million times because it just always makes me happy.
I want to find that, man.
The camera panned down to the shot and then panned around the crowd. I wish what he should have done was pan down to the shot and film right back up top, because I was up top just giving everyone super high fives. Like people I didn't know, I was just like breaking their hand. I was like just, yeah. And that was like, that for me was huge. However, the putt on 18 at Memorial is probably the most butterflies I've ever had. Like, that tournament's been so difficult for me. And when that finally went in, knowing that the worst I can do is a tie for first, it was just like the goosebumps. I don't even know what the word is, because it's something I've never felt before. Like my heart was just like beating out of my chest. So those two are up there. So I'm hoping that something can beat that someday. But if it doesn't, then that's fine, because those are awesome.
Is that when you decided to be like a touring pro once you won AM Worlds, or when did I make this decision?
I decided to be in touring pro the first time I played disc golf. My first goal was to be in the Hall of Fame one day.
Awesome, man.
I didn't even know what the Hall of Fame was, but I was like, this game is too awesome for me to not think that I'm going to play for the rest of my life. So my very first goal ever was be in the Hall of Fame, and to do that I figured I'd probably have to be a touring pro. So
awesome. You started in 06 and you won AM Worlds in 08?
Yeah, I started in May 06.
Wow.
I took a semester off of disc golf when I was in college still. So
I've been playing longer than you. It's depressing.
Wow.
Compete against or play with, I mean, those are two different things.
Oh, totally, yeah.
Playing with, I mean, there's so many guys that you just have a good time no matter what. I think, honestly, such a boring answer because he's so freaking good, but I love playing with Paul Macbeth. He's reasonable about bad breaks. He doesn't whine and complain too much, and he'll listen to you. He'll talk while he's killing it. He doesn't just stick to himself.
Yep.
And he can understand whether you got a good break or a bad break, so he can sympathize with you. And keeping that in mind is it's important. When you're playing with somebody who's just having a rough go at it, it's important to have sympathy, like it is,
yeah.
Like
I hear you, man.
You got to sympathize with your players and what they're dealing with, because unless you've been in our shoes, unless you've toured for a living and played disc golf as your only way of making money, it's hard for anyone to understand how difficult it is. And to have somebody my brothers that I play with on tour, for them to understand and sympathize with what you're going through, it's important. And I think he does a good job with that. But there's a lot of guys. I love playing with Paul Ulibarri too. And then there's just a ton of guys that are just like, you can't even be mad if you're playing with them. Like, they're just keeping you laughing the whole time. Like Chandler Fry, I played with him today, and
that guy's super nice, man.
I can't be mad, and I love that. I love that. It's just the positive energy in the group is always great. No matter what's going on the course, you can keep things in perspective, and that's always good.
Cool. That's probably good, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Big Jerm, thanks for doing this, man. That was way too much fun, man.
Thank you very much.
I said there's two kinds of people in the world: big Jerm fans and people that haven't met you yet.
And then there's also a lot of people. Oh, wait, that's what I'm throwing out there. Right. You said that you have a lot of fans, Jeremy, and I said, yeah, there's a lot of people who haven't met me yet.
Yeah, that's what you said. But I say it's the complete opposite, man.
Okay, all right. I appreciate that.
You want to give thanks to your sponsors, though?
Yeah, sure. I'll thank my sponsors. I thank Prodigy and Do Squad. And thanks everyone that's ever been supportive of me. And I really appreciate, I always feel the love, and hope to meet a lot of the friendly faces that I haven't quite got around to shaking hands with. And I'll see you guys around. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you so much, Jeremy. Appreciate your time, man.